Welcome everyone to the Smithfield Town Council Committee meetings. Public comments. Do we have anybody signed up for public comments?
No comments.
Hearing none. We'll move to the public safety and maintenance. Mr. Bowman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public safety members, myself, Vice Mayor Harris, and Councilwoman Beavermeyer. First up is operational updates from the Smithfield Police Department. We have the Deputy Chief Meyer with us here today. Deputy Chief.
Good afternoon. You all have our report. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions of Deputy Chief Meyer?
Okay.
There being none.
Thank you all.
We are supposed to have had an update from the Smithfield Volunteer Fire Department. The Deputy Chief Smith has turned his ankle this morning and cannot be here, and we're hoping for a rapid convalescence on his part. The only thing that he really asked that I pass on is there'll be some leadership changes at the Smithfield Police or Fire Department next month with the general election that they'll have, so he wanted to pass that on. The current chief has decided to step aside after many years of dedicated service. Deputy Chief Kempton is now in command of it for the month and is very confident and can handle it very well. And as I said, they will have an election next month to fill the vacancy. So that's all he had for me today. The next, and they do have a new brush truck that will be coming within next couple of weeks, I believe. They're going out to do an inspection on it or whatever, and have, I think, very astutely decided to ship it back instead of driving it back. It's coming from the Midwest of the United States and save some tires, save some fuel, and for what it's going to cost, the cost-benefit analysis. I think Michael, they talked to you a little bit about it, I guess, or maybe, but anyway. But the cost-benefit analysis is such that it's more cost-effective to have it shipped back than it is to drive it back. So we'll maybe get them to bring it down so we can see the new asset when it gets here. The next is operational updates, Alawite Volunteer Rescue Squad. Chief Carroll.
Thank you all. I apologize. I missed a couple meetings over the last month due to some family stuff. I'm back. So.
Good to have you back.
Thank you. Call volume continues about the same. We too are in the process of ordering medics in the county. We had 2 medics ordered. Actually, medic delivery is still about 3 years production. We've had medics ordered for a little over 2 years now that hadn't gone in production, and we're up to ordering 2 medics. So I talked the county into, for the first time ever, forming a medic committee to make sure everything was standard across the county, and we formed a committee of all the agencies, career and volunteer. They put those specs together. We reviewed them as chiefs, and we've sent that out for pricing. Doesn't look like it's going to be a lot of difference in pricing, just some compartmental changes, but something to make all 4 of the medics, so the 2 that we're getting ready to order and the 2 that have been ordered for 2 years, the same spec, and we'll use that spec moving forward across the county for everything. So that's certainly good news. We just finished an EMT class, or just finishing an EMT class. We talked to EVOT this weekend, which is Emergency Vehicle Operations. Had a chance this morning to walk through the new hospital again. I get through that every chance I can get. It changes daily, it seems like. So excited that that's going to be here, and that's, again, such that game changer for what we do. There was a conversation at the county level last month on increasing fees for service for billing. I have some mixed emotions on that, and I'm kind of digging into the ins and outs of that. The statements were made that, we have a safe harbor, and it doesn't really, the statements were made, it doesn't cost you out of pocket. We bill your insurance, but anything you bill your insurance costs you somewhere along the way. Premiums don't come for free. And I think taxpayers pay a lot of taxes, and some services come with that. So that public hearing is July the 10th in front of the county, and I'm going to be prepared to make some kind of stance on that when we get there. That's about it.
Further questions, Chief Carroll?
Chief, you addressed the concern that I had from reading those articles in the newspaper. So I appreciate you saying that and offering your opinion, and hopefully we'll have a lot of folks turn out for that meeting.
Yes, sir.
Further comments?
No, sir.
Chief, you want to give a quick tutorial and talk for the folks that might be watching us about the necessity of remaining safe in these next 3 or 4 days of hot weather?
Yeah, we haven't upped our staffing, but we've upped our rehab and made sure our resources are good. But stay inside, stay cool. We've had several heat exhaustion calls already this morning from people that were working outside, so remain in the air condition, take your precautions if you're outside, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate is what my wife would tell you. So, yep.
Thank you, Chief. Any further questions? Thank you, Chief.
Thank y'all.
Anything else to come before Public Safety Committee by members of council? If not, that completes the public safety section. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Bone. We move now to water and sewer, and Mr. Cutler.
All right, thank you, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this will open the water and sewer meeting. I'm the chairman, Mr. Cutler, and Councilwoman Biebermeyer and Councilman Bowman, and the Public Works team here, and I think we have a presentation from Ms. Clary on connections and fees.
Yes, these are just service line connections for our 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, 14-inch, and 16-inch. This would be our connection and our availability fees. We recently had 2 applications that will require an 8-inch service line, and so we do need to develop fees in order for those connections to go through. Ed used Excel to trend what our previous lower, smaller size meter connections were, and then we just rounded it off for simplicity.
It's worth noting that our existing stuff stops at 6, and so that's why we had to pick up, and we did compare against surrounding localities, and these are below what other localities are charging, so they're not exorbitant. They're big numbers, but they're also big connections.
Are there any questions about this fee schedule? All right, having no questions, so we'll see this
Next month.
all right. Thank you. Any other questions for the Water and Sewer Committee? All right, this closes the Water and Sewer Committee meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cutler. We move now to finance, and Chair, Mr. Brooks.
Yes, sir. I'd like to open the Finance Committee along with Councilman Harris and Councilwoman Butler. First on our agenda are the May financial statements, and I'll pass that off to our treasurer, Laura Ross. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. You have the graphs that I sent to regarding property taxes right now, including all property taxes, the real property taxes. It's 1.9 million. I'd like to add that through today. We ran a report to show what the real estate collection was, and it's 2.5 million, which is right in line with what we expected. As you know, they would do on June the 5th. It takes a little bit of time to apply all that, so we may see a little bit of an increase. We actually charged 2.7 million, so that's a little bit lower than what we expected, but we will be getting that in. We want to take a look at the page 3 will detail what all the real property taxes are. Personal property being the largest as of the end of May, because that didn't reflect what we've collected in real estate. The second bar chart shows the local taxes, and as you'll note at the very top of that, meals tax 2% and meals tax 4.25% is the largest part, and that totals $1.3 million. We are going to combine those two into one line item because they actually are the same. We just segmented part of that out to pay for a project, but they are actually one line item in the financial statements coming in July. Sales tax of $468,564. If you will note, during the month of May, we did not receive any sales tax. And again, what we do is Virginia will send the sales tax revenue down to Isle of Wight, and Isle of Wight then apportions it out to all of the other localities with us in Windsor. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time for them to do that, and we have been behind several months, but we did receive that at the beginning of this month. And again, Isle of Wight keeps 69.22% of those fees. We get to have 22.98%, and Windsor gets 7.8%. If we look to the other charts that will show you revenue to budget, I just kind of list out the revenue to budget and expenses to budget, and you can take a look at those line items. Because the numbers are so large, I just did it as a percentage of what we do to budget versus actual numbers, and you can see the actual numbers in the individual line items on all the financial statements. All right, so total revenue collected to date is $11,508,000. That's 77.45% of the budgeted amount of $11,222,000. As you recall, we apportioned 3.6 million of ARPA funds, and that shows up in the line for governmental funds. Our total expenses to date is $9,459,000, or 61.25% of budgeted amount. We have moved, if you look at the individual department financial reports, some of the items might show a negative amount. We've moved around some of the funds from line item to line item, so they are more and more of a positive amount. We're going to redo that later on in this month, so it looks a lot better. That way we can get a better idea of what each department is doing by the end of the year. Let's see, you have a debt breakdown in your packet, and it shows our debt as of the end of May of $3,659,000. And if you'll note in the series 2020 A-2 and A-1, the interest rate for the A-2 is 1.6, 20A-1 is 1.9%, which is pretty well below what the prime rate is. So again, we can always think about paying those off, but with a good rate like that, we probably don't have a reason to do that. Let's see, so the due dates for the series are not due until October, and again, the loan we pay constantly. The next one will be at the end of July, and again, the VAC truck will be paid for at the end of August. Any questions on those?
Mr. Brooks, make a comment, please.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Ross, I keep a kind of close eye on the checkbook at home. And one thing that I'd like to commend you and your staff on, tax bills. When I send my tax bill in, the rapidity upon which it's deposited is commendable, because I compare that against other locations where I send my just payments. But I just want to commend the town on the deposit speed upon which y'all process the return payments. It means a lot, and I know for every day, it's not lost on me, and I'm sure about the rest of the council, that for every day that check lays out of the bank, it's not collecting interest.
That's
So
right.
I just wanted to commend you and your staff for doing a wonderful job, at least according to the way my bill looked. So that's all I have.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll pass that along to the staff.
Please do.
And we'll segue into the cash portion if you don't mind.
Certainly.
Our goal for this year, we can kind of talk about the rates as we were mentioning interest. Right now, through this year, we've got another month to go, and I hope we're going to be able to earn as much as we have. We might hit $1 million in interest just for this year, hopefully, if nothing happens. So that's my goal with that. Because right now, we're at $938,000, and we could do 65 to 70, so that'll bring us there if we were able to do it. So if we look at the cash balances report, right now we have $21.9 million if needed, and I mentioned our investments, and VIP is still paying the most at 4.45. That's all for that, and we are in compliance. I listed all that out on the second sheet that I neglected to send until this morning. So let's see. I'll just talk about other couple things. Virginia auction, we sent out the collection notices for delinquent personal property. Now what happens is they send out the notices, and we only pay the fee of 20% based on what the overall, what each individual bill is, and that sometimes it's not very much, but we only pay on what we collect. So we don't have to pay on things that we aren't able to collect. We have been able to, I would say that when those letters went out, about 2 weeks ago, we have collected so far $7,526. And it was about $228,000 what we sent out, so we still expect to collect more. In the letter, it noted that they had to pay by July the 5th. So I'm sure we'll get a lot more. Every day they're bringing me more sheets to show me, because I keep a list of what all we've collected for that. The next thing that'll happen is they'll get their cars booted. So that's sort of been a impetus to get them all to pay their bills. All right, any questions on that? Okay. The ERP, we have our first meeting scheduled with RDA. That is scheduled for the July the 16th, and as I mentioned earlier, the first part we're going to try to work on is the finance. That's all I have.
And I will add on that, we are meeting with the attorney to see what ramifications we have to go back against Munis for any of the failures that have been on their part. So we are going to try to pursue that.
Good.
Yeah, that is good news. First I've heard that. All right, anybody have any questions for Ms. Ross? All right, hearing none, I will close the Finance Committee. Actually, no, I won't. We have a big day coming here. We got almost $1 million day. So I'd like to talk about invoices over $20,000. And we have quite a few. First one is for Lewis Construction of Virginia for the Great Springs Road Project for $59,872. Next is Lewis Construction as well for the single cross drain. Not sure which project it was. $35,320. Next, Blair Brothers for the Waterworks Road ditching for $21,900. This one was just added on me. D. Blair Brothers for the Great Springs Road project for $200,800. Next, we have Virginia Control and Electrical Services, LLC, install bypass pump, $41,918.73. Next, Athens Building Corp., Windsor Castle Park Boardwalk Restoration, $99,455.58. And the last payment to Isle of Wight County for our water and sewer agreement for $500,000 even.
There goes the $1 million.
There goes the $1 million. Anybody have any questions or comments? If not, I will sadly turn this over to Town Council for approval.
I have a question, Jeff or Michael. The two projects on Great Spring Road, what were they?
We had a set of culvert pipes that when we closed the road down to fix, and then we had an emergency repair pop up after that where there was another culvert pipe that had started to cave in that we fixed ahead of the repaving. So in total, we did 3 culvert pipes on Great Springs Road before we paved.
Okay. Good
And
question.
where are we in completing all the bridge work out at Windsor Castle Park?
There's some we're done? Okay, then we're done.
Oh, okay.
That's good news. All right, anybody else? All right, now I'll officially close the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Now we move to Public Buildings and Welfare. Ms. Butler?
Yeah, Public Buildings and Welfare with myself as chair, Vice Mayor Harris, and Councilman Cutler. And Tammy, we have an ordinance text amendment.
Yes. Yes, thank you. This is to bring our public notice requirements in line with state code. It is changing back to the 5 days. This will allow us to advertise the 2 Wednesdays before the meeting.
I got a question. We changed it to the new process because of
Yeah, the
they
state
changed
code,
it General Assembly.
yeah, the state code changed, and now they have reverted it back to what it was.
Okay, okay. Are there any questions?
Is this a public hearing for this? Are we?
No, we just, that comes
Set the
up.
public hearing.
Yeah, it will be a public
Okay.
hearing.
Yeah.
For council.
We'll move this forward to town council meeting on next month. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why did the state change it and then revert back?
They
For localities
sometimes,
similar to ours?
yes, they sometimes do things without thinking through what it's going to mean downstream. And I think we were one of several localities that had
Okay.
issues with publication deadlines.
Okay.
Because we publish in the Smithfield Times, which goes to print on Wednesday, and we meet on Tuesday. The other localities meet on, if they met on Thursday, then they would experience the same problem that we are
probably are some small areas that got weekly newspapers.
Right.
Thank you. I'll close out public buildings and welfare.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. We have a unannounced, it's not on the agenda right now, but a closed session. Michael, can you elaborate on that, please?
Yes, sir. We need to go into closed session for the purpose of negotiations where negotiations in a public forum may adversely impact our bartering position. That is 2.23711, subsection 3.
We have a motion to go.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Call for the question.
Councilwoman Butler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Liebermeyer?
Yes.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilman Bowman?
Yes.
Councilman Cutler?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Okay, we'll be back in about 3 hours. I'd like to have a motion to go back into open session.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we return into open session and further certify that no other business other than that expressly allowed under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act pursuant to the initial motion was discussed.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second. You call for the question, please?
Councilwoman Butler,
Yes.
Councilwoman Biebermeyer,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Bowman,
Yes.
Councilman Cutler,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Yes?
Mayor Smith.
Back in open session. Is there anything else to discuss today for committees? If not, we'll close the meeting.